Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I dream of. How once in a lullaby. Beautiful day here. It's cooled down. It was 100. It was hot. Now it's down to a cool 90. I'm splitting some watermelon up and drinking it with my dog. Old dogs and children, watermelon wine. Change in the colour of the sky. Can you see it? That's because they're cutting the limestone today. It's dust everywhere. Oh, there she is walking by. Girl from Ipanema. What? She's lapping the studio table. That's limestone, see? You don't want to get that in your lungs.
I didn't wear a mask, did they?
They didn't. Stupid boys. Oh. And there you go. Live across the world. This is the Late Show. Or the early one, I suppose. I've been singing karaoke, yes. Badly, still. Singing love songs to the miss, and she was just totally ignoring me.
No, I can't just
Yeah, and then I tried to sing like Rod Stewart. She said, "What you doing?" La 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 la. It's not easy to sing Rod Stewart. Have I told you lately that I love you? No one else above you. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Here's the old classic one, of course. I am sailing. I am sailing. He always sings like he's got a frog in his throat, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Home again, across the sea. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Do, 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 do. Do, do, do. Yes, in about a month's time, I may have a holiday. I have a whole day off. Yes, I booked it in. Definitely unique. What was that lady singer? Bonnie Tyler. Remember Bonnie Tyler?
Yeah, like her thing on
What was her song that's most popular? She had a raspy voice too.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yes, Rod Stewart, definitely unique vocal cords. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? You right there, Rod? Yeah. You sure? I think so. I haven't heard much of me favourite comedian lately. I hope he's doing okay. Billy Connolly.
Yeah, didn't we miss a thing?
I don't think there was an ad about a new show, but I don't think it's new. Do you know what I mean? Birds are singing. Must be cooling down. Got the fan blazing away because it's still a bit warm. It's not hot. But we're not sweating or anything like that. We're uncouth. But warm it is. And big talk about schools closing here. And the government in Australia is going to do what the government in Australia did in 2008. We're going to give money to people. That's what we do in Australia. If a recession looks like it's closing in, they give the people money because they spend it. That means the shops make money and retailers make money. Yeah, we don't bail out the big banks here. Fuck 'em. I did hear figures of $500 each being mentioned. That would be just the tip of the barrel. Mark my words, if that's the figure, there'll be a cartoon with $500 worth of toilet paper.
Yeah. What time is it where Buttercup is?
What's the time now?
6
It's about 6.
in the morning.
Yeah? No. Sorry, 12. It's noon. It's about noon there, I think. They had daylight saving just kicking.
Yeah, 'cause they're early.
Yes. Because I'm probably going to do a bit of sanding while it's cool. That means I've got paint in the morning. See if that guy wants that in cash for those panels he bought or whether he wants me to transfer it. If he says cash, I'll just go down and get it for him.
For which one?
For the panels, extra panels.
Oh, yeah.
It's cooling down quite quick. So tomorrow won't be that hot. Which is good. It's supposed to be 31 tomorrow. Which will seem
Yeah,
cold.
Yeah, 'cause last, whatever, having 36.
Well, last 3 days have been 100. So. Dust. Have I told you lately that I like you? Have I told you la 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 la? That's what make do.
Must be a game. They're even early.
That was a whole battalion of. Actually, that's what we'll do when it cools down. We'll go down and ask them permission to film their battles that they do medieval.
Yeah.
It'll be cool.
But 10 minutes from my show's on. I enjoy my show.
American
You
Pickers.
Enjoy your Doctor Who.
Yeah, I watch one
You
show
haven't
a
watched
week.
that? Oh, it's only
Yeah.
once a week.
Yep, goes for about an hour and I watch it. I watched it since 1963.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm watching my shows on every day.
Yes, the first Doctor spoke like this. Yes, I'll come back one day, if I can remember. But I'll probably regenerate into somebody else. Yes. He was good, the first Doctor. Actually, the character that played him in that show did a really good job. You remember that old guy? Who played him?
No.
Okay, I'm talking to myself. I remember.
I remember when the night was young and me and Susie had so much fun. I know that song.
Sing it.
No.
I remember when me and Susie. There's a lot of Sue songs. Run Around Sue.
Yeah.
They called me Sue.
Yep.
Don, don, don,
What's
don,
his
don,
name? The
don.
plane.
What? What am I looking at?
The plane.
The plane. Plane. I
Um.
can't even see it. Oh, coming over the horizon.
Yeah.
That's low. What's it doing? Might be trying to land at the park.
Johnny Cash.
I keep a close look on this heart of
He sang
mine.
a Sue song.
What?
He sang the Sue song.
Call me Sue. It's like I remember when I was a kid, there was boys and girls called Evelyn. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Could
It's
be
not a
boy.
name I would ever pick. But
Mm.
yeah.
What's your name, mate? Evelyn.
I mean, it's not that no names aren't nice. Just some names don't appeal to you, and Evelyn's one of them. Damien's another one. Every Damien I've known has been evil.
Yeah. Damien. He's rather low, isn't he? What's he doing?
Coming into land.
He's been low. Normally they come in from a height.
I can't tell you.
I think he's definitely landing.
Going after this.
Pardon?
Going after this.
Oh, your
mate.
show's on.
Yeah. Make myself a coffee and watch it. And make you want to bring it out here if you want it.
No, I don't know if I'll be on too long.
Huh?
I'm a bit early, like you say.
Yeah, no.
I'll turn it off and go do some sanding. That'll be fun.
I get ideas from American Pickle.
Right, so we're going to start a picking business?
No.
Knick-knacks and paddywhacks?
That's it. There's no gutter guard on there, is there?
Hello, Scarlet. Gutter guard. No, there's just no trees over the top of the house. So.
No, the window's still blowing because look at the old house.
Yeah, old house is good. Beautiful day here, Scarlet. Down from 100 now to about 90. Thinking about putting a jumper on.
Hello, Scarlett. I'll leave you in Seed's hands because I'm.
Going to watch. She's going to watch American Pickers.
Yes, I love that show.
Boom Coronas in my little town. Yep, it's everywhere, Scarlet. It's on everyone's lips. Our government is shortly going to announce schools will be called off. It's just, we're so intertwined, you know what I mean? Although I could have been at your place yesterday, now home back in Australia. That's how intertwined we are. So there's no way of stopping it spreading. The containment might save people. You just got to stay safe and be smart. If you're going to go to the shops, go early when there's no one there. or late, either way. Yeah, they're talking about all of our schools closing shortly. Look, if we just bite the bullet and we close schools, universities, and say, all right, in 2 months' time, we'll reevaluate. And if things are getting better, let's just do it. A month ago, yeah, you're good with that food. I mean, you'd be fine. You're one of the least persons I would worry about, Scarlett. You can mend and make do, cook, garden, resources, you will make the best of them. Other people might have everything and they go, what do I do? How do I open this tin of soup? Mr. Campbell, call me. But we just got to be smart. We're both not spring chickens anymore. So we'll just hide in the roost for a little bit. Yeah, the experts are saying here that because of the nature of the beast is that it will do little explosions in different countries. Italy's the best example. I mean, it's just staggering. The whole country is under quarantine. It's 60 plus million people. But we just might have to bite the bullet and do nothing is the answer. Do nothing. Stay home, watch old movies, make a few recipes, keep your family close to you. No school on. Yes, people will suffer financially. Yep, plenty of things to do. It's going to be tough on people. Let's talk about the money side. Yeah, it's going to be tough. But tough is not bad. Tough is whatever. Hello, Buttercup. Mystic's gone to watch American Pickers. But just got to bite the bullet and do what we need to do, minimise contact. But the schools are likely to be closed within a week or two here. All of them. I can show you, ladies. I'm not going to show you the window that I managed to open today, but I was excited. This is the ramp. We've probably got about another half day's work. I'm going to put a wall like that up against the wall here. And that's the ramp going down. So old people like me can get up easily. It's just going to be pavers going all the way down. It's flat here, then goes down on an angle. Redundant. Yeah, I think what's going to happen. Now, don't quote me on this, as in saying that didn't happen, Seeds, but I think because governments do actually have powers they can implement, they're called emergency acts. You could very well see the government say in the UK, for example, that anyone that is paying a mortgage pays nothing for the next 3 months. Now, people say, oh, that won't happen. Yeah, well, under emergency laws, if people aren't earning income, there's no mortgage to pay. They don't have the money. So you'll be seeing some strange things like that occur. Otherwise, the banks will be told, shut your mouth, you get nothing for 3 months. So there could be things like that. Food distribution can occur with the army. In other words, Buttercup might get a knock on the door, and you'll see here people going to the front door picking up a week's supply of food that the government has dropped off. Yep. But I think you can't expect a nation to go into quarantine, not go to work, not have any income, and still pay a mortgage. So there is emergency acts in Australia. I'm pretty sure there's similar emergency acts in the UK, where they'll just say to the banks, no mortgages will be collected for 3 months. We'll see you in June and reevaluate. And that's not the end of the world for the banks. It's not the end of the world for the people who don't have to pay mortgages. It takes that burden off them. Because the last thing I would like to see is people have to go to work because they need to pay their mortgage. Food is relatively, you can get by with very little. Even a family, you can get by with a little. So if we are going to be genuine and quarantine all of ourselves for, say, a couple of months, make sure that no one's going to be put under duress during that period to pay mortgages. Yep, that's why I said to be reviewed. So come June, if it's still a calamity, well, the banks just don't make any money. The house is not going anywhere. The people that live in it don't want to leave it. So if the banks don't get any revenue from people, it's because no one is earning revenue. So there are emergency acts that governments can take and force that issue. And the banks will bleat, oh, no, what'll happen is at the end of the mortgage, we'll just add on this time. The government might say, okay, that's fine, but that's in 20 years' time. No, we have different acts. Some of the acts go back a long way. Renters will be the same, Scarlett. There may be a compensation from the governments to pay the owners, but it may be minimal. Everyone's got to take on the burden. Hello, Carolyn. If I owned a property and was renting it out, say, for $500 a week, and the guy wasn't earning any money, and it's for this reason, and the bank say to me, well, the government says, well, just don't charge for the 3-month period. It's like the old saying, everyone has to lift their game. You can't expect some portions of the community to take a big hit and others not. The banks are not going to get away by trying to kick people out of houses they can't pay a mortgage on. So I'm just saying this in advance. This may be a month away, but it could happen. There are extraordinary acts under emergencies that governments can take. So if you don't have to pay a mortgage, you think to yourself, well, I can stay home. We've got a few months' worth of food, and in a few months you can grow a lot of food, can't you, Scarlett? But my point is that if one part of society is not earning money, you can't expect them to pay anything. So we all just have to take and bite the bullet that that's the case. If we don't lift together, we fall, alone. Education's not a major problem in Australia. They've already started education classes online and on television. So if you're, say, a year 6 student, you'll go home, tune into channel whatever, and your classes and lessons will begin between, say, 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. You have to, Carolyn. Through the bleakest parts, and Britain is a great example, there's no doubt in anyone's mind in my family that the Germans were going to occupy Great Britain at one stage, but they weren't having a bar of it. They got bombed to the shithouse. They suffered through lack of food. They worked extraordinary hours. Women went to the workforce and started making ammunition and tanks. Everyone lifted. So that is what we have to do. So you can't have greedy banks saying, well, no, I know things are tough, but you've got to pay your mortgage. No. If I was the government, I'd say, Mr. Banker, you'll get nothing for 3 months. Suck it up, sunshine. You will have, without doubt, and I'll guarantee this will happen shortly anyway, irregardless of the government. There'll be people going around in trucks, simply even with rounds of sandwiches, some milk, orange juice, tea, sugar, you know what I mean? They'll be knocking on old people's doors saying, don't have to open the door, there's a little box of goodies for you, all right? And they'll go, and then she'll come out and go, oh, you little ripper, a little bit of bacon there too. Nice. That will happen. Absolutely guaranteed that will happen. It seems that the Italians are having a high mortality rate, which is terrible. But in other parts of the world, it's different. But things, you're going to see some remarkable good things come out of this during the duress of what's happening. Yeah, mine too, Carolyn. Sit next to me. I'll share it with you. It's one of those things. It's something, a defining part of this time on this planet is that this is not the end of the world. It's devastating economically, and people are getting ill and dying. Let's not forget that point. But if we all lift and pull together, there's an opportunity to go through a period of, it's tough, but we go through a period with a great deal of pride at the end of it. You know, we did help some old folk down the road with some food and milk and bread and things like that, which they will never forget till they die. Hello, Lake. You know, sometimes you've got to give before you can take. And this is a giving time. Not money. We're not talking about money. We're talking about time. And if you know someone who's doing it tough, it's not going to hurt you to make a little box of goodies up. You know, enough maybe last someone, a single old person for a week. Tins of soup, bit of bread, marge, bacon, sausages, something like that. You know, $20 worth. Knock on the door and say, there you go, mate. And they won't forget, and nor should you, because that old person could be you. Well, I know Buttercup will understand what I'm saying, and some of you I know also will remember what I'm saying. There's a very good chance that the homeless and those itinerants who sleep in vans and cars will be taken to something like a FEMA camp. Hear me out, don't get me wrong. Immunologists already say these homeless people wander amongst many hundreds of people, and they are more than likely to catch the virus. So if you hear of roundups going to your FEMA camps, don't be surprised, because it will be acted under the Health Act. They need to be taken away and out of circulation to protect them and others. The streets will be bare. Like I say, we're going to see some extraordinary things. Stuff from movies, if you like. Will there be rioting and looting? Probably. Yep, I heard that this morning. But, you know, it's not going to be uncommon. But for me, it's very logical. If I've got a really big room and there's 8 of us and one of us has the virus, depends what we do. If we give each other a kiss on the lips or, hug, we could be transmitting. So some of those unnatural things that you would normally give someone a hug, don't. It's just one of these extraordinary times. But you will see the good come out in people, trust me. I don't think a vaccine will do much good. If they have a vaccine for the current version of the virus, within 6 months, if it's mutated, the vaccine is useless for that next lump. The Spanish flu tells us clearly that it mutated after about 12 months. So it's not as if that wouldn't happen either. I hope it doesn't. But if it does, then we've got another kettle of fish. So I ask the very small crowd that I have in here a small favour. I ask of you. Now, if you know of an old lady or an old man, I don't want you to give anything right now. Okay? Just get a little cardboard box. We've all got them around the house. And put in a few tins of soup, maybe some other stuff that you know that they can cook easily, and wait a little while. There'll come an opportunity that you'll be able to say, oh, I know old George down the road and his dog, maybe get a bit of dog food. And if it's really bad, like I say, tell him not to answer the door, but you've got some goodies for him. If we all did that, just one box, which is about a week's food, it's going to cost you $20 at best, no more. An old bloke living by himself probably has cereal, he probably has oats or something like that, and if you give him milk, in Australia we're lucky we get a lot of UHT milk that we don't have to put in the fridge. So if you haven't got any real milk, you can always, worst scenario, I don't like powdered milk. But if you could all do that for me, I don't want you to send me anything. But if you make a little box up and just put a question mark on top of it, in other words, you don't know who you're going to give it to. In the end, you may not give it to anyone. But in a week, 2 or a month, if you know of someone who's by themselves, and no one's going to go and check on these old people. I mean, I've got to be blunt here. No one is going to check on them. They'll be scared and alone. So if you can all make a little box up and just put it away, put a question mark on the box, and if it happens that you know of someone in the near future would benefit from it, it's not going to be any skin off your nose. Nursing homes are just about totally quarantined here in Australia. But I'm not talking about nursing homes, I'm talking about people you know that are old. And we've got to be really honest here. They remember bad outbreaks of stuff. If someone's 80, they remember people dying of measles, chicken pox, TB, all these things we grew up with. So just think about it. I'll never know if you give it to anyone, I don't care. But we'll do a box up, and if it happens, we'll drop it off to someone. And again, definitely knock on the door and say, don't answer your door. I'm just from up the road. I know you probably need a bit of tucker, a bit of food as we call it here. And then walk away. Don't even have to see them. Yes, that's right. Yep. There's a lot of things that will, the good side of humanity will shine through on a lot of occasions, and most of it we'll never hear about. You'll never hear about it. In fact, let's say Scarlett drops something off to someone and they don't even know who she is. He won't know about it. The neighbours won't know about it. Scarlett will know about it. And that's more important than anything, because it's like just fear. Forget the disease itself, just the fear. Old people get really badly anxious when things like this happen. I'm not getting any loop. I can't get any loop paper to put in my box at the moment. It's not happening, but we will. It's just the basics, you know what I mean? If someone dropped me off a box of 4 tins of baked beans, some oats, some bread, that'd be great, jam maybe, tins of soup. And if I'm an old bloke, I'm thinking, well, a tin of soup's going to do me for a day with a couple of slices of toast. Yeah, I think just one box, Scarlett, because if you imagine that if everybody just did one box, it'd be enormous. And you are freely welcome to. This is only an idea. Please don't tell people I said it, but if you go to another room, maybe suggest it. I don't go to a lot of rooms, but I do know even some of the shit rooms, there's plenty of good people in the side chat. So if you want to filtrate it out, don't mention me, just say it's an idea. That way, it may really help someone. I mean, really. I keep thinking of an old man who's at home right now, just scared and thinking, I'm not going out. He may, by attrition, just dwindle down to hardly any food. And even maybe it doesn't get as bad as we think, but he won't know that. I'm more practical than kind, Scarlett, because I believe that old man could be me. You don't have to know who you're helping. That's one of the things with giving time and a little bit of goods. You just know you're helping. I mean, look, if out of one of 1,000 boxes, some old bloke puts it on eBay for sale, well, okay, we'll take that loss. But it's probably not going to happen like that. Everybody eats soup, everyone eats bread, you know what I mean? All the basic stuffs. If you've got bread and jam, trust me, my grandmother said that was pretty much a meal. So give a little, not much, and think about it. Don't give out the box today. Have a good think and see how your area goes. And if it goes well, reopen the box, put it back in your pantry. I've got no problem with that. But give it a go. Like I say, if you know things are bad, don't do it all the time. Just make the effort to drop it off. But don't put yourself in danger. but certainly one of the things, I spoke quickly to the postie. He said, what the hell am I going to do? He's got to go to the mail office, pick all the mail up. He says 5,000 fingers have touched the mail. Then he's got to deliver it. And he said, I don't know about taking some holiday. So people are anxious, there's no question. But I know, and we all know, those adversely affected with this are older people. How scared would you be if you're 80? And all you're seeing on television is videos of nursing homes, ambulances, and then you're hearing Italy's been closed down. And so, yeah, that's right. There's so many things that can go wrong here. And I'm trying to think today of the things that we could go right. Even, I mean, as horrible as it sounds, so I did up a box for an old fella. And then I hear a couple of weeks later he died of the virus. Well, that's sad, but didn't take anything away from what I did at the time. So it's been forgotten, I'll be honest. There's no mention of this in the media at all, about the perspective from elderly people, particularly those living alone. There is nothing on the media about this at all. They're being forgotten. They are the highest risk category for this virus, and no one's saying anything to them. Do you know what I mean? They're not getting any information. All they see is what they see on the television or the internet, if they're on the internet. They're forgotten. It's like, oh, well, if they die, it doesn't matter. Well, yeah, it does matter. It really does matter. I wish the media would do a bit of a campaign on what I'm saying, is just to care a little bit, because it seems it's all for yourself. It's not one for all and all for one. It's one for one. Hello, Mel. So we'll do that. We'll make a little box up, and if and when the need arises, we'll find some old fella or some old lady that needs a box of goodies. Because I tell you, I'm sure they're sitting home thinking, I'm not going out. I'm not getting on the bus. Public transport, oh no, I'm not going there. Not going to bingo. All this sort of things I'm saying, no one's mentioned it at all. You would have on this planet, I believe it's 20% over the age of 65. That's how many of us there are. But no one talks about them. They just say, oh yeah, they're the highest category of being affected by this, but no one's talking to them. So, I don't know. So, if you do, from me, I thank you. You don't have to, but if you make a little box up, and in time, if you don't need to give it to someone, great. But if you think of someone during this time, an elderly person that's scared witless, just do the right thing for them. Oops, I nearly missed. We need elderly to tell those stories. We do. They're lost as soon as people pass. You'll never see it. I may show Mel when she comes around here, but I spent a lot of time with my wife's mother, and she was a lovely lady. She really was. And didn't take much convincing, but I said, would you sit down with over the next few days, just 10 or 15 minute bursts of video and tell your life story? And she did, with great clarity. I think the video goes for about an hour. It took probably a week to do it. But there are stories after she passed, I gave everyone a copy. And there's stories that even the girls didn't know about. It's quite extraordinary. Of course, I'm listening and asking very minimal questions. She's giving plenty of answers and reliving moments. And it was great. Yeah, that's the one thing that I'm talking about, Scarlett, is how are the elderly handling this fear, anxiety and isolation? It must be terrifying. Yeah, it doesn't matter, Buttercup. You may have something pop up where someone tells you about an old lady in the village. People saying, I'm not sure how she's going. You know, things like that. Doesn't have to be directly you know somebody. But anyway, I'll stop waffling on about that, but it's what we will do. And if others do it, great. And if you tell others, don't say I said it, but just tell them it's a good idea. Oh, I tell you what, I mean, when we used to take our dog, Mel, in Augusta, to the nursing home, there would be people who would sit there all day and just stare at the wall or stare at the window. And our dog would come in, it's like, boom, they're alive. People really, if you've never seen a care dog and an old person interact, it's just so beautiful. Of course, they want to keep them, say things to Mel like, just leave your dog here, I'll look after it. Don't forget to bring the food on Fridays. They all want to keep them. Yeah, that's really what I'm saying, Carolyn. See, I always find an act of kindness is usually your time, not your money. In this case, a little box of goodies. Yeah, a little bit of money, but not much. But you know, sometimes, Caroline, if that gets started, the wave that it could create could be wonderful. Yeah, that's why I've been thinking about this today, Buttercup, because there's been nothing but negativity and no mention of how old people are feeling. Zero. Yet they're the highest category to be affected. Well, Carolyn, it's not how much money you give, it's how much time. I'll guarantee, and I get it, I've told the story about this old lady, and she picks me out. I haven't seen her for a couple of weeks. That's probably why she's at home. But she always stops me in the aisle and she wants something from the top shelf, which I know she's not going to buy. You know, they're the ladies that in the meat department put down a bottle of ginger beer or something. They never really wanted it. But she say, can you just get that down for me? Oh, it's you again, she says. I'm thinking, yeah, all right. You got me. 5-minute chat. Yeah, things going well. Your kids? Yeah, good. Makes a big difference to her. And I enjoyed it too. When it happens, it's fun. Yeah, you're not going to... People with my idea about giving maybe a box of goodies to someone in need in the future, other people go, oh, that's stupid, not wasting food on old people. They would see things like that. I don't. Great idea, Scarlett. Even old magazines that you've finished with. And I tell you what would be a good idea, just for their peace of mind. This is what I'm going to do. On top of the box of goodies, when they first open the box, now we have a spray called Glen 26, which is an antiseptic spray. I might put in a box of gloves, which are only about $7 to buy a big box of 200 gloves, surgical gloves. And on the very top, put a tin of this spray, which means they can spray everything if they want to. I'm not going to kill them, but they might use the gloves when they go out. Just stuff I'm thinking of is like not that expensive. Oh, your neighbours are very lucky, Scarlett. When you're moving next door to me. Can you imagine if we lived next door, Scarlett, how fat we would get? Come over here, try this. Yeah, Scarlett, come over here. I've whipped up this. We'd need this ramp that I'm building just to get in and out. Yeah, wipes, good idea. But like I say, when Buttercup said that, it's true. All people are getting is negativity. The word hope is not there. Or understanding. A lot of people don't understand what the hell's going on. Yeah, if you are my neighbour now, it's a fair walk. I'll just give you a warning, Scarlett. It's a long way. But like I say, if you go in other rooms, I'm sure some of you do, just mention it. See if we can get a little movement going. And remember, it didn't come from me. But it might not just be what we're talking about, the box or the little goodies and to help someone. It might be the understanding that they've recognised that it's not all about themselves. It's not like, oh, it's all about me, I've got to protect me and only me. So maybe that might give a little bit of hope. Because at the moment, humanity looks pretty damn nasty, we've got to be honest. Governments are really not going to be able to do too much, but the people can. Yes, I agree, onions do that. But I couldn't waste it, Carolyn. I'd leave it out for half a day and throw it in a stew. Waste not, want not. Yeah, I'm the same. I don't go many places now because it's just all waffle and nonsense and hatred. Plenty of that in the world. I think countries like Iran, God help India, Bangladesh, Pakistan or Indonesia if it gets there, they will not have the facilities to put people in quarantine. One of Mandy's sister lives in Jakarta. Lovely Indonesian man, really lovely. But they're in Jakarta with 20 odd million people. Keep tinfoil around the onion. Do not eat it as well. Yes, but Carolyn, you can always keep the tinfoil afterwards and put it on your head. Waste not, want not, remember? I can see the onion may have to go, but the tinfoil, let's not be silly. A little ray of sunshine is coming to the world. Let's lay a little sunshine down somewhere. Yeah, when I cut up an onion, it goes into a stew. Went to the fry pan with some onions, garlic, and etc. Yum. They're medicines. Onions, garlic, ginger, chilli. Truly, they are all medicines. Anchovies, not so much. Anchovies are evil. They are. Honey's fantastic. Times of trouble, scarlet's in the garden. Oop, ripped open a thumb. No antiseptic in the house. Nothing. But some honey. That'll do the job. Clean it out, coat it in honey, wrap it up. Good as gold. Very expensive Manuka honey. Comes from New Zealand. If you're buying Manuka honey in another country and it's not made in New Zealand, it's not really Manuka honey. Hello, Box. The last person on this planet who will ever get any virus is Box. It ain't gonna happen. I would suggest people, if they're not sure what vitamin to take, just take a multivitamin. Your body kicks out whatever it doesn't need. That's how it works. So you may be taking stuff that's unnecessary, but a multivitamin, unless you're in demand for something like B12 specifically or things like that, yeah. But they've even canned people, and I talked to Buttercup about this last week. Here, you can't get double up on scripts. There's an edict already out. You only get what you're prescribed for the month. So that's already kicked in. Schools are likely to close, like I say, could be 1 or 2 weeks en masse, not just one school, every school, which would mean universities. But you can, a lot of the learning that can be done for education can be done online. And a lot of these universities are already doing that in Australia. There's 3 or 4 already closed, but all their students are at home with their laptops, and they're seeing the same professor they see at the actual university, but he's online, and there's interaction feedback. So that's not a problem. Younger children, a bit difficult to get a 6-year-old to sit in front of the laptop and do some homework, but, and the other big question is, let's be honest, in modern times, mum and dad aren't normally home. So that might become an issue Scarlett mentioned before, no babysitters. There's all sorts of armies that have been brought up over times of duress, like, you know, there's, what were they, the Red Army, the Blue Army, there was all sorts of colour codes for different things, the Green Army, usually during wartime. And there was old people that used to go around in World War II in several old towns in the UK. Oh yeah, no, they're talking box here, $1 a litre. Rapidly. I mean, that's not helping the situation, the war between Russia and Saudi on prices for oil, because no one's using the stuff and they want to increase production, which is silly. We can all chip in and do something, like I say, if there's an old person, whether you know about them or not. Yep, it's what you would call a perfect storm box. See, Box is the type of guy, in a year's time, when he ventures into a town and everyone's gone, he would say, oh, okay, go to another town. If there's true a name as any, as in the movie The Last Man on Earth, it would be Box. He needs for nothing, wants for nothing. He'd certainly miss chocolate, I suppose, and things like that, but not much else. Being self-sufficient is a wonderful safeguard. But times, hopefully, looking back on this, we'll see the good coming out of people, not just the fear and the anxiety and terrible things that happen, but the good, that people do things for each other. Well, is it the end of the New World Order, or is it part of their plan to do this? There's plenty of conspiracy theories on both ends. I hope that one of the biggest things that comes out of this is the resilience that people find. You know, mend and make do. Waste not, want not. These sort of things, which we live in a throwaway world right now. I hate throwing stuff away. I really do. I will always sit back and think, what can I do with that? And I always find something to do it with. You can tell it's cooling down. The birds are coming in from the desert. So that's one hope I have, is that we'll see a great resilience in people's. And like I say, governments are not going to save you. If people think that by someone saying, oh, we'll save you, we're the government, it's not going to happen. You need to do it with yourself or with friends and make things happen. Rely on nobody if you can. Well, I don't know, Scarlett, but I do know that we've all spoke about this the last couple of weeks, how the markets would go all over the place, and they're doing that right now. But it's the one thing people aren't talking about. If you understand how economics work, it's earnings from company that attract people to buy the shares. And believe me, there's not much earning going on. So there will be a huge drop shortly. You think 2,000 points on the Dow was big? That'll go up and down like a yo-yo. But when it gets to earnings season, which is usually in about January, February, March, April, and no one's earning anything, dividends won't be issued. People's value of shares dropped. People will get out in droves. So there's a huge thump coming in the market eventually. I mean huge. One of them 20% days. But you always get greedy people say, oh, it's a great time to buy. Really? Everything's affected. But all we're going to do is to try and keep ourselves, our family, as best we can, safe. And whatever that means, whatever that takes. Because if you stay strong, personally, if you're fortunate to stay strong, well, you can help other people. So being a little bit reserved and not going out and doing things like you would probably normally do, you will be someone other people will turn to. Yep, stay calm, think logically, think laterally. How else can I do things? Absolutely, box. Because it really isn't all about me. The world is full of me people. We've bred 2 generations of me people. I'm important. Do you know what I mean? It's like maybe their lesson will be learnt through this. Sadly, if young people lose fathers or grandfathers, they'll suddenly realise then it's not all about me. It's the we that counts. But this is akin to some of the books I've read in the past, fictional books, about how the world's attacked. One of the greatest examples, as a metaphor, would be War of the Worlds. We all know how that ended, which was great, but the metaphor was it was looking really bad and it was destructive. But people stood up. And in the end, we survived. I did it to my daughter about, hello, there goes the green parrot, about 4 or 5 years ago. I sat down at the table because she normally comes around and says, what have you cooked? And I knew she was coming around. And I sat down at the table and I had a knife and a fork. And she said, what are you doing? And she said, I am going to give you the honour tonight to cook me a meal. And she never really cooked at all. She said, fine, I'll do it. And all I heard was, how do I do this? Is it got to be on high or low? Do I use a pot or a pan? And I said, yeah, you'll figure it out. And the meal was average. But, and then she said to me after, why did you make me cook dinner? I said, well, maybe I'm not here. Who's going to cook for you? And she had a smile on her face and thought, oh, righto. Not a mean lesson by any means. Mind you, I was watching me pot get a bit black. And when she said, is it on too? I said, yeah, you don't need to burn the ceiling. You know, boiling water is only 112 degrees, not furnace. Just need it simmering. So we need to build resilience into these generations that buy food already made, snap their fingers, and they want it. We need to teach people that you don't just go to the bank and as a young couple you say, I want a holiday, new car, and a really big house. And the bank goes, okay. And they say, what are you doing? Just putting some chains on your legs. What's that for? Oh, it's part of the mortgage. You ain't going nowhere for 30 years. Save money, spend it when you got it. Don't spend other people's money. Really is the way to go. If I was in government, no one would get a credit card. Well, we want a credit card. No, you don't need one. You're not getting one. But how am I going to buy my holiday? You're going to save money over several years. Am I? Yeah, because you're not getting a credit card. Credit cards are terrible. People don't think it's money given to them. Oh, I've got $20,000 credit card. I'm rich. No, you're not. So hopefully, the good things that come out of this is a bit of humanity surfaces, kindness, thinking of others, and a lesson of it's not all about me. But I do worry about these older people, knowing that they watch telly. All the people dying are old people, and they're vulnerable, they're anxious. What they normally do, they aren't doing. Yep. I've always said it's okay to make a mistake. Unpleasant as it is okay to make that mistake. It is fatal to make the same mistake twice, though. That shows you're just going to fail badly. And you probably knew it the second time around, and it did. So if you're going to make mistakes, make new ones. Don't revert back to making old ones, because you know they're going to fail. Oh well, I'm going to shoot and have a shower myself, and on Friday, a couple of days, I can have a shower down the back, one of the new rooms, because we're having the new heaters put on. Total indulgence. I may sit in there for more than 15 minutes for having a shower. Normally I only have a 5-minute shower. Just wash, clean, rinse, get out. So I might make this a 15-minute shower. Yep. So, all right, I'm going to toodle off. The wife is watching American Picker Things, or whatever it's called. I think she wants to do that as a little business. I know what's going to happen. I'm going to drive around all over the country. She's going to buy thousands of dollars worth of stuff which is never going to get resold. You know what I mean? Oh, I can't sell this. It's too good. So it won't be picking. It'll be storing. All right, all of you have a great day, wherever you are. That's what I'm seeing at night time. Beautiful. Down to about 90 degrees now. And this is about the last day of summer. It was 100 today. So we're looking getting down into the 28s, 27s, which means I'll be putting a jumper on until we meet again. Be safe. And those that got my message earlier, just think about it. We'll catch you again. Bye-bye.